Thanks everybody for joining. My name is Brennan. I am the founder and owner at Newaya, and I am doing these weekly webinars to talk about just a particular piece of Newaya's program that we offer to carriers, where we have a trade-in program for devices, and we build this program out with the various regional carriers we work with. And so today I'm talking about this specific part of our program, the Associate Rewards piece of our trade-in program. And so if you've got any questions as I go through the webinar, feel free to toss those in the chat. Hey, Andrew, happy Friday indeed. Yeah, put those in the chat. I'll be looking at the chat as I go through, and we'll read out the question and get back to you as I go through and talk about this feature. So with that, I'll get started. For anyone that's not familiar with Newaya that's on the call, Newaya was founded in 2010. I started almost 12 years ago in Fort Collins, Colorado. So we're here in northern Colorado. We serve, specifically on these calls, we talk about the program that we have for carriers, but we also serve the enterprise and education markets. So we work with IT managers and IT departments at various enterprise businesses, buying back their used equipment and aged equipment that they need to sell off when they upgrade, and with schools. So as you can imagine, schools have a lot of devices that they facilitate out to their teachers and their staff and their students, and we work with schools as well. So we'll process about 30,000 devices in 2022, and we have 8 employees at Newaya that work with me. There are about 6 here in Fort Collins, and we've got 2 that are remote. Everyone on the Newaya team today has been with the business for longer than 1 year, and we've got folks that have been on for almost 9 years now. So really great group of people, great team that work with me at Newaya. So we've been around for a while, and we've got the scar tissue and the success stories and case studies to prove it. So yeah, been around for a bit, and we've gotten really familiar with this used device business, and we like to share about it in these webinars. So that is us. There are 2 programs that we offer that I like to talk about and highlight in these webinars. Most of our time talking about features will be about our trade-in program, so that one on the left. And so we offer this turnkey trade-in program that carriers can drop into their retail stores and put on their website to host a really good-looking trade-in program where you don't have to design any of the assets and create any of the software. Newaya has created all of that software to manage and run the logistics of a trade-in program, so carriers can just offer that straight to their customers. And that's primarily what I talk about, the features of that program on these webinars. But I also like to mention for folks that are interested, Newaya does a lot of inventory liquidation as well. This is a big part of our business. So for those the education and enterprise markets that I mentioned just a slide ago, this is what the service that we're offering. So for aged inventory, for overstock inventory, for damaged handsets that get returned, for buyer's remorse handsets, end of life handsets and accessories, Newaya is regularly purchasing these from the partners that we work with, and so we offer that as a consistent ongoing program as well for anybody that wants to take advantage of it. So that's one of our other programs. But again, my webinars are more about the features of our trade-in program. So we'll get along with that. For reference, folks that are using that turnkey trade-in program that I mentioned, these are some of the folks we've worked with for many years now. We work with Viaero, Inland Cellular, Copper Valley Telecom, Docomo Pacific out in Guam, and Silver Star Wireless. We've worked with these folks for a long time. They run that software that I mentioned in their retail stores. Some of them have our online widget hosted on their website, so you can go check that out. And you'd be more than welcome to reach out to any of these folks and ask them kind of candidly what their impression is of us and how their experience has been working with us. But we're appreciative of their business, and so they're running that trade-in program that I mentioned. And then a few folks who we buy inventory from and have for years are in this list: C Spire, GCI, Verizon, and Rogers. We've worked with these carriers for years as well and been participating in their auctions, buying their overstock handsets, their damaged stock and end-of-life stock, aged inventory, etc. We participate in buying that inventory from them. So again, be more than welcome to put you into contact with our points of contact at these organizations to share their opinion about us. And we hope that from all the work that we've been doing, that it's positive. So That's who we work with there. But today we're talking about the rewards program that we've built in our trade-in program. And so I just kind of want to go over, some of the ways that we came to this idea for this program. One of the most essential parts of getting a retail sales force to buy into any promotion is getting them interested. These folks are the boots on the ground of any sales team, and for the program or promotion to see success, they have to be bought in. And for them to be bought in, they need to see some value, some incentive. And with a lot of programs that we see carriers launching, you see some programs that they just go through their life cycle and they don't get a lot of buy-in from the retail sales associates, and they don't do very well because of that. And conversely, when you have buy-in from the sales associates, you see these programs as a customer walking into the retail stores, or if the marketing team is pushing the program, you see it on their website and stuff like that. But the way that we view it at Newaya, and after running these trade-in programs for over half a decade now, is that if you do not have the buy-in of the retail sales force, you are not going to have success in any promotion that you run or any program. And for us, that specifically, is about the trade-in program. So if the trade-in program is not understood by the reps and they are not incentivized to utilize it and to share it with customers, you are not going to see success in that program. And so we wanted to, after several years of seeing this and thinking, what could we do to tie the success of the program to the incentive of the retail associates? We came up with the program that we've been operating now for about 3 years, and have found great success with it. And the carriers that we work with really like it. We've kept it pretty flexible. And so I'll go through the details of how this program works now. So our Associate Rewards program gives retail representatives $5 for every valued trade-in that is identified correctly. And a valued trade-in is a trade-in that has a value basically over $0. So all, basically the last 3 or 4 years worth of iPhone products, Samsung devices, and LG devices and so forth, that many Android devices, iPads, etc. Unless they're more than 5 or 6 years old, they most likely have a value. There are more esoteric models of ZTE devices, and I'm trying to think of other manufacturers, but kind of in that vein, the ZTE devices that usually a regional carrier will get on a promotion that don't have a lot of trade-in value or used market value after the fact. For those, they may have a $0 value in our system. We would still allow a trade-in, but the associate's not going to earn a reward on that device. But for the vast majority of our catalog of different devices that are valued, the associate will earn $5 as long as they identify a trade-in correctly. And what do I mean when I say identify correctly? Well, there are 2 pieces to this. The associate has to identify what model, manufacturer and model a device is, and what gigabyte capacity it is. And then they have to identify the condition. And in Newaya's system, we ask for about 7 different questions about, do the buttons on the device work? Does the device turn on? When you plug the device in, does it charge? And these are they can be cumbersome in a retail environment, but we've tried to set the questions up simply so that associates can get through them in about a minute or 2, and then correctly identify whether a device is in functional condition or non-functional condition. And so this is how we're tying that incentive to the rep to identify these devices correctly. That provides a ton of value to Newaya because we're receiving devices that have been, accurately identified. The condition is correctly represented, and it provides value back to the carrier partner as well, because the carrier is not getting hit with a ton of devices that they sent into us that ended up not being in the correct condition. So they're getting charged back for that condition difference. And so that ends up making it ties this loop together of the associates being bought in and getting a reward for every single trade-in they do. So they're actually seeing this reward. And so I'll talk a little bit more about, Andrew asked a question. Are those questions customer facing or only rep facing? Currently, they're in our trade-in system that is installed in the retail environment. They are rep facing. The rep could certainly turn the screen around and show the customer these different questions, and they could talk with the customer about the questions, because they're not displayed in any I don't know, proprietary or private way. So the rep could certainly be forthcoming about those questions, but we're encouraging reps to do that testing themselves. You can't always rely on what the customer says. I think the customer is probably wise to the fact that if the phone is broken and they say it's broken, they're going to get a lesser value, and it's probably best for the retail associates to do that testing themselves. But in most cases, all they really need to do that testing themselves is they need to run through some of the apps on the device. They need to plug it in. To be fair, that means it does need to be charged and functional, and sometimes that can be a challenge. But again, this is why we're incentivizing the reps with this program to do these things that take a little bit more time. We understand that they take a little bit more time, but if the rep is getting $5 per device, then that can mean, it can actually mean a substantial spiff to them, basically, in a monthly period. Hopefully that answered your question, Andrew. But yeah, it's rep facing in terms of the rep going through this process on a retail computer. They could turn it around and show the customer or be forthright about it with the customer, but they don't have to if they don't want to. So I'll talk a little bit more about how those are distributed. So these payments, we've got this, and this is where the flexibility of this program comes in. We've worked with several of our carrier partners that have said, this is a really neat program. We're excited to roll with it, but we want to pay our reps through our own internal competitions or promotions. We want we've already got a structure for doing a rewards program for our associates, and we want to just incorporate this into that structure. And we said, great. So we've got two options, basically. We have a managed option, and that's the one I'm indicating here at the top, where we can email reps at the end of the month when we're doing our reporting. We can email reps the digital debit card that we actually offer as a payment method for trade-in customers as well. So if you, as a carrier, are running our program and you choose to offer this payment method, this is the same payment method. So we use it, and basically at the end of the month, all of your reps at your retail stores that have taken in trade-ins and identified them correctly, and they have a positive balance there, rather than a zero balance, we will issue them a digital debit card and handle all the logistics. So they will get an emailed digital debit card, say it's $50. They get an email on their, in their email inbox, and they can load that digital debit card onto their Apple Wallet or their Android wallet, and they can use that payment method locally if they want to. They can use it at any grocery store, convenience store, or they can use it online. It's just a debit card number that they can use online, and so it's really a flexible payment option. So that's Newaya's managed version of these payments. But we can also distribute these payments out in a lump sum, and we do this with several of the partners that we work with. So we can distribute them out as a lump sum to the carrier, and then the carrier can do whatever it wants with them. So we will combine all of the different rep rewards payments. We've got a report that allows us to do this very quickly at the end of the month. So say you took in a couple hundred devices over the course of the month, that could be $500 to $1,000 that you can then use to run your own. If you've got your own leaderboards of, maybe you're running it on a per store basis, so the stores are competing with each other, or you're still running it on an associate basis, so the associates are competing with each other. Whoever has the most sales or whoever is selling the most of a certain promotion, you can reward them with this trade-in rewards value however you see fit. And so I know we work with Viaero Wireless, and I hope Luke wouldn't mind me sharing that they utilize that lump sum option. And Luke Dillie over at Viaero goes out and buys all kinds of neat AirPods and Apple devices and stuff like that. On a payment method that we share using these funds, and then they host their own internal program for rewarding reps, and they host their own internal competition. So Newaya can either manage this program entirely, or the carrier can manage whatever program that they're already running, or start a new program. We've even had carriers use this kind of these funds for pizza parties and stuff like that. So it's one option or the other. You can either have us manage it and we handle all the logistics of sending this value out to the associates, or the carrier can disperse the payments as they see fit. And between these two options, we've seen a lot of different creative things come out of it, and they've worked quite well for us so far. So those are the different payment options that come with that. The financial structure, we've had prospective carriers that have asked us, how does this financial structure work? Does that mean that the value that's going to these reps is now being pulled out of the trade-in value that's either offered to the customer, or the commission that's offered to the carrier? And the short answer is no. These are not, the rewards are paid above and beyond our value for trade-ins, and it's not taken out of that value. We're not reducing the value. The structure of our trade-in value is we set pricing as one of the pieces of our trade-in program. We set pricing each month based on the secondary markets that we sell into. We set the pricing for all these different trade-in devices. So we manage a huge catalog of different devices and carriers and their associated values. And so that is what is paid to the customer. This rewards payment is paid to the rep if they identify the devices correctly, and the carrier still receives its commission. That's the part of the structure of our program, a 10% commission to the carrier. And so this is not taken out of either of those values, the commission or the device value. It is paid on top of it. And the reason that we did this program is, one, we've got competition. We have other trade-in providers out in the marketplace that other carriers are using, and we want to offer a very competitive program. And the other piece is it's a win-win for us because less problems and fewer discrepancies of the associate taking in a device and really truly looking at that device and analyzing its condition. That saves us time on the back end when we're processing devices and processing problems and issues. All of this, the better version of the program that you have at the initial interaction, which is the retail associate working with the customer, the better the experience is throughout the entire program. We found that to really be true. And so it's worth it for Newaya to fund this $5 to reps that are really going through the process correctly and identifying the device so that we have fewer problems later on. And so that's the way that this program is funded. It's an entirely Newaya funded program, and we issue a report. The other piece of this, kind of full circle solution is that we issue a report at the end of every month. We do this anyway for all the devices that we receive from a carrier in this trade-in program, but we issue a report of all of the trade-ins per customer, or excuse me, not per customer, per user, per associate. So the carriers that use this program, that use the Newaya trade-in program, get a report at the end of the month of all of the trade-ins that have come in per associate. So they get it based on with the name and email of the associate, and they can see the tally, the count of how many trade-ins did this associate take in correctly and how many of them did they incorrectly identify. So that, and this is a huge, hopefully a very empowering managerial tool for store managers to work with their reps to say, hey, you missed a few this month. Why are you missing a few? Is there a consistent pattern with the problems? Are you not catching phones with a crack in the glass, or do the phones that you're taking in just not turn on? So this is the kind of the full circle nature of it. And we even include, I think, another unique part of Newaya's program is at the end of the month with these reports comes a report that has pictures. So in our offices, as we're receiving and processing all the devices that come through these trade-in programs, our technicians are taking pictures of the devices that do not match what the associate said at the retail store. So they're taking pictures. Those pictures get uploaded into our system and ultimately uploaded to the NewayaTrade system that these associates are using to take in these devices. And at the end of the month, a report is sent, and we send a full PDF with an image and a description of each device that came in that was not as described. And we do so much, at the front of this program to try and prevent that there are usually not that many, even for carriers that do high trade-in volumes. We usually just see a few. So it's not a 50-page PDF, it's a couple-page PDF. But it's another tool for store managers to use to work with their reps to show these are the things that you are missing, and these are the things that you need to be working on. So here's the targeted area that we should be focusing our energy, is identifying cracked screens or making sure that the phones turn on when they come in and we're taking them in for trade-in. So we do a lot of reporting around it. And, of course, that would just be a slap on the wrist if there was no reward structure built in place. But Newaya builds this rewards program into place so the rep can see, okay, I took in, say I took in 10 phones, but 4 of them did not have they were not identified correctly. So I'm only getting paid for 6 of those devices. I'm only getting $30 when I could be getting $50. And that difference is a $20 difference to me every month. So it's worth going through and looking at these. We're tying an incentive value to the performance improvement of the reps utilizing the trade-in program. So that's the financial structure of our program. Andrew asks, does this $5 incentive apply to all devices or only for devices above the certain dollar level? So sorry, Andrew, I did mention that at the beginning, but the program applies only to devices. So that $5, the incentive only applies to devices with a positive value in Newaya's catalog. And so we have a ton of devices in our catalog, ranging from, the last 7 years of iPhones and Samsung devices and HTC devices and so forth. Most of them have a value, but like past 5 or 6 years, some iPhone, like an iPhone 5S or 5 doesn't have a value at this point. So this program does not apply to a customer that comes in and trades, or an iPhone 4S. There's really very, very little trade-in value, so we can't offer that program if the value is 0. A rep can still offer that to a customer, still offer a trade-in option to the customer, but it's just going to come, we're just operating as the logistics provider then to process the device through our system. And when it gets sent to us, we still try and recycle it or sell it in whatever means we can. But usually the value of those older devices is below it's below $5, so we're not able to offer the incentive program. And I should say, it's not just older devices. If some of the more esoteric, like ZTE or Huawei devices that are a few years old, and maybe they were budget devices to begin with. They were only $30 or $40 at retail to begin with, or something like that. Those may also not have a high value or a high resale value, so they might have a 0 value in our catalog. But we publicly display our catalog. I'd be happy to share the link with you to our pricing catalog, so you can see what devices have a value and what devices don't. For some of the carriers that we work with, and this is just another thing to mention, perhaps, some of the carriers we work with wanted to use our trade-in program for all devices. And that includes a lot of customers. So they wanted to tie trade-in to every single activation that they have coming in. And for those carriers, we built out a customized rewards program, basically, that allows them to do a lot of these trade-ins. We call them recycle trade-ins because they've got a $0 trade-in value, but they're happening a lot because customers are bringing in flip phones or various devices. And so for those programs, depending on the volumes we see, we can still tie some rewards value to those recycle devices, but it's usually not a lot. It's something to still incentivize reps, so it's worth it for the associates to take in these devices through a recycle program. But we can't pay as much because the devices aren't worth nearly as much on the resale side of things. And I guess the other piece of that is some carriers will also offer a minimum value, and this is a feature in our program that I'm going to describe in a future webinar. But sometimes customers come in and they say, "Oh, I expected my phone to be worth $100. You're saying it's only worth $20. I'm going to go sell it on Craigslist," or something like that, or I'm just not going to utilize the more important thing is, say the carrier is offering a trade-in promotion, a promotion that's built around trade-in, and they're trying to get customers to activate new lines, and they definitely don't want to turn the customer off just because the trade-in value is too low. We have a way to set a minimum trade-in value in Newaya's system where the carrier is subsidizing the trade-in. And so say Newaya's trade-in value to the customer is only $20. Bummer. Maybe that's gonna be a bummer for the customer, and the carrier wants to say, okay, no matter what device the customer brings in, we're going to pay $100, and we're going to subsidize that just to make it a better customer experience. That's easy. All you have to do is in Newaya's settings, you can go in and you can set the minimum trade-in value. And if Newaya's value then is $20, then we're saving the fact that, okay, Newaya's only going to pay the carrier $20 for this device, and the carrier is effectively subsidizing the $80 portion that's getting you to $100. And so we just store all of that information. The carrier can pay the customer for that device, and that's how it works. But so that's one of the options that we see is carrier subsidizing trade-in and setting a minimum trade-in value to take in all of those older phones that might be recycled devices. We're kind of past the rewards program at this point, but I wanted to explain that's one of the things that we offer as well. Again, if the trade-in value, if Newaya's trade-in value on it is $0, then we're not going to offer a reward to the associate. But of course, the carrier could do that themselves. They could say, well, we're now trying to take in all trade-ins, a lot of lower end devices, just to incentivize customers to come in and take advantage of this promotion. So we will offer our own rewards program or subsidize the rewards program as well. And again, I want to stress, we work very closely with the carrier partners that we have. We're a small company, and our goal is to customize our program. And that's the thing. We built this program. We don't work with a ton of offshore developers. We build the program in-house so we can add interesting features like this that kind of stand up the promotions that carriers want to offer. So that's one of our advantages. Thanks for the great question, Andrew. So this that covers the rewards program. I really like to share this quote from Luke Dillie. I even mentioned him earlier in the webinar today. But we've worked with Luke for years now, and Luke is the sales operations director over at Viaero. He works very closely with all the store managers and implementing the retail programs that they run. We've just had a phenomenal experience working with Luke over the years, and one of the benefits of this is led to, if Luke has an idea, he's a very creative guy and he's got great retail ideas for promotions and programs. When Luke has an idea for a program that they want to run at Viaero, Luke shares it with us if it involves trade-in, right? If it's a program that can leverage trade-in to offer a promotion to the customer, we discuss that idea, and if it makes sense, we build out a system to implement that program. And we try to be incredibly supportive and basically an in-house brainstorming team for promotions. So this is, one of the things we're talking about more and more on these webinars and with the carriers that we work with, that our goal at Newaya is to be kind of like a small think tank or brainstorming team around promotions that involve trade-in. And that's one of our biggest advantages, is we work really closely with the partners that we have to enable them to run great trade-in promotions. So if you're interested in doing that, please get in touch with us, and we'd love to chat with you more. So thanks, Luke, for your continued business. At that, I'll open it up to any questions. Thanks for the great questions, Andrew, throughout the course of the webinar today. Again, my name is Brennan. I'm the founder and CEO of Newaya. There's my contact information. You can reach out to me anytime, either directly or through our website, about running a trade-in program, working with you on inventory liquidation, or just to learn more about the different features of our trade-in programs. And I'll be posting this webinar, the recording of this webinar, on our YouTube channel to be able to, so you can watch it after the fact. I'll send it to everybody that's attended the webinar, and I've got one of these coming up every week. So if you're interested in seeing more, I'll see you next Friday on the same topics. So we don't have any questions, so I think I'll let everybody get off to their weekends. But thanks so much for joining and taking the time this Friday, and have a great weekend. I'll see you all in the next one. Take care.